This week we discuss a movie where a woman wreaks havoc across the multiverse on a quest related to parenthood. Doctor Strange and everything, everywhere, all at once. I'm Chad.
And I'm at.
You're listening to episode 59 of We Used to Talk About This at Work. We are back in action. Friend of the show, Rachel's here too. We're not going to do pomp and circumstance.
Hello.
So, I'm not sure if you had a chance to listen yet, but Matt's parents were on the episode last week.
I have not yet.
Okay. And before we hit record, I was like, all right, guys, out of respect, because, you guys are my elders, I'm going to not curse. And I was like, man, we had a really good episode. I didn't say any curse words. So I'm listening to the episode during the edit, and I'm talking about Top Gun, and I'm saying fucking and shit, and I was like, oh, that just slid right on out my mouth. So that's a thing that happened.
So is that going to change the way you do podcasts now? Are you still going to try not to curse when you're with elders?
No. I tried to make a concerted effort not to do that, and I did it. It happened. I'm moving on.
Exactly. Don't worry. They've listened to the podcast. They know what kind of mouth you got.
No, I know they listen to it every week. I'm just saying that I was trying to do like a personal like goal for myself, and I failed. That's what I'm saying.
I understand that because you do majority of the talking with everything, so you talk more. I think the only time I ever not cursed was when I was on Francis' podcast.
That's funny. That is funny.
So I'd have to do a lot of talking.
Yeah, you didn't do a lot of talking. You're right. Welcome back, Rachel. So
Thanks.
this is your third official episode, and you did a bonus episode with me. So we're gonna count that as 4. And I remember a few weeks back on the episode Matt did with Laurent, where Laurent was saying that he was one of the most he's had a lot of guest appearances, which is true because he's had 4 if my math is correct. And at this time, Josh, our cousin Josh, is leading the charge with 5. So right now it's anybody's game between you and Laurent to overtake Josh.
Oh, so are we tied for second right now?
You two are, yes.
Nice. Just
So
got to get past Josh then.
right, move that needle. But anyway, what's been up with you, lady?
Not too much. Working and watching more stuff. As I usually do. So, yeah, not too much. But, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, if anyone's seen that one, that was a really good watch. I've been keeping up to date with that one. You can see it on Paramount Plus, and I've been really enjoying that because I wouldn't consider myself a Trekkie, but I've seen the original, and I've seen some of the new generation, and I've seen the original movies, and I've seen the new movies, so I just like that universe in general, and I'm really liking this new show, so I would recommend it to people.
What is this show about?
So it's about Captain Pike, who was captain on the Enterprise before Captain Kirk became captain. And so far, we haven't seen Kirk come aboard yet. It's just been Captain Pike. And we do see Uhura. She's on board already, and Spock's on board already. But the rest of the team still hasn't come together yet.
So I've seen the first 2, and Spock's dad is part of the crew. Sorry, Kirk's dad is part of the crew.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But yeah. So are you into Star Trek at all, Matt?
No.
Are you familiar with any of Star Trek?
I know some characters.
Like
Yes.
Captain Kirk and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, Spock and the guy with the things on his eyes.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Jordy LaForge. He's from Next Generation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and also I know they made a new one with the new movies with younger people, but no, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
yeah, they made three new movies.
Yeah, but the Strange New Worlds is pretty good. Strange Worlds. Basically, Star Trek as of late, they've been doing it where it's like, oh yeah, as we watch TV now, right? Where it's like one big story,
Uh-huh.
and this show is trying to get away from that and just do like classic Star Trek, where it's like none of, not saying none of this matters, but it's like we don't have a grand overall plot. It's just like every episode is a mission of the week. We're just gonna have some fun.
Uh-huh.
So it's on a streaming service, so it's not like you can be like, well, I missed last week's episode, but I can watch this one because like it's literally right there at your fingertips. But it's pretty
Uh-huh.
good. It's pretty good so far. It's just time is never on my side, and so like that's the only reason I'm behind. But it's a good show.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that they've been doing it, like previous Star Treks where it's one mission at a time, like one mission per episode. And then you still kind of get the character building, but you can start and stop and not have to worry about what happened last episode if you don't want to. So I was also watching Sweet Magnolias on Netflix, which I'm not sure would be either of your type of thing, but it kind of reminds me of like a cross between One Tree Hill and Heart of Dixie, because it's like a small town, southern. There, it follows three adult best friends who are from the small town, and their lives and kind of their friendship bond keeps the show together. And then they also have a storyline for their kids. So there's like an adult storyline, there's a younger storyline, and it didn't have as much like comic relief as I was hoping, but it's still pretty good. It has been renewed for season three, and I'll plan on watching season three. So,
So my question on this show is like I know like it's three friends, it's like two white women and a black lady. And you said it follows their kids and they're in a small town. Does the black lady have a biracial child or did she hook up with the only other black person in town that's not related to her?
she doesn't have any children, and she hooked up with a white guy in town.
Ooh, okay.
Or at
So
least that's what you know in the beginning. I'm not going to spoil any endings.
so we out here being progressive. I see you, Netflix. Okay. And while we're on the topic of Netflix, you're about to watch The Karate Kid.
Yes, I'm seeing the musical before it goes to Broadway next weekend. So they're kind of doing a test run in St. Louis. Um, and I'm going to go with my mom and grandma. So I really need to watch the original movie because I've never seen it before. And then I'm really looking forward to the musical because I love musicals.
Are you gonna watch the newer version of the Karate Kid?
Cobra Kai or Jaden Smith?
Oh, yeah, that's good
J-
point.
Jaden Smith.
I've seen like bits and pieces of it, and I don't think I have to see that before the musical because I think the musical is just based on the original. So, unless someone recommends it to me, I'm just gonna skip it and watch the original.
I would argue against watching the movie before watching the musical because the musical is probably just going to be a rehash of the movie, but with songs.
That's true, but I kind of like being able to compare them. That's my thing. Like, I always like having read the book before seeing the movie. I always like having seen the movie before I see the musical. So I have something to compare it to. Although, I guess you could argue that might like decrease how much I like it if I don't like how they changed it. So
Yes.
that's your point.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a good point, but I'm still gonna watch it.
Can they make a musical out of anything?
They have.
Because now I'm thinking, right? Because I'm like, they're making a musical of the Color Purple, and
That's
like
that's
they've
that
made
yeah,
musical out
that's
of like,
already been a musical
Yeah,
for some
that's
time.
oh, I'm thinking like they made music about happy movies, sad movies. Has there been a musical about a horror movie?
Carrie the musical.
yeah.
What is that about?
That's that Stephen King story about the girl with the psychic powers. Like you know that famous scene at the end where they dump pig's blood on her at prom.
Oh, Carrie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you said Harry. Oh,
Oh.
okay. Oh wow. Does singing make it less what's the word I'm looking for? Serious?
It's the tone. It all depends on the tone, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you know there's some stuff that's like really some of the songs can be super serious and shit, and other songs can be just fun and happy. So it just depends on the tone that they go for.
And I think not all musicals are happy. Like I've seen depressing musicals before or like darker musicals.
Yeah, like have you seen? Well, I was gonna ask if you've seen this, but talking to Matt, but I know you haven't. Sweeney Todd. No.
Is that the one with I've seen the movie?
Yeah.
Is that the Barber movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I'm very surprised. Did you not realize it was a musical? Were you
No, I didn't
tricked?
know when I was went in. No,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah. You were tricked.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Rachel was telling me, what's that one you were telling me about that's coming to Chicago this summer?
Oh, The Devil Wears Prada,
The musical.
the musical. Yep. Wait, have you seen that movie, Matt?
I love that movie.
Yeah.
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 I love that
Such a good
movie.
movie.
I guess since I've never seen a musical, I'm always intrigued of how do they make this into a musical?
It it honestly like I personally feel like you need to have either never seen the original or you need to be kind of removed from it because I've seen Mean Girls the musical and it's the same thing. It's just got some
Oh,
songs
they
in
have a
it.
Mean Girls as a musical?
Yeah, they do. It's
That
You go, I'm
Legally
sorry, I
Blonde
cut
is
you
a
off. What'd you say?
musical. Like, there's so many movies that
yeah.
have become musicals.
So like it's
What were you saying about what are you gonna say about Mean
so
Girls?
so like with Mean Girls, it's like that's a movie I've seen so many times. Like I know that movie really well. Like as
Mhm.
we're all millennials, like we know those quotes in and out. And so basically to see them go through the same beats of the movie, it's like why am I here? You know?
All right, but then I'm just going strictly off Mean Girls. But was when they sing that Christmas song, that had to been rocking though, right?
I don't even remember that part cuz like that's not a part that like so I have a few of the songs in my like playlist and like that's not one of the songs in my playlist. Is
That
that
makes
song even
sense,
in the
though.
musical?
I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like they would have to have put it
The
in
Christmas
there.
that's probably in
But
there.
it has to be. I feel like it has to be. But I hear you. Like, I saw Pretty Woman at the Fox, and I've seen that movie like plenty of times, and it's just so ingrained in pop culture that when you see it done like another time and it's different, it's kind of like,
Yeah, what are we doing
I'd
here?
rather be watching the movie or like just not watching this. I mean, it was a good time, but I hear what you're saying.
But on the flip side, like, and this is just my personal preference, I saw Beetlejuice for the first time, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I didn't like it. But I saw the musical, and that shit is so good. I feel like the musical is leagues beyond the movie. But that's also because I don't like the movie.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've seen a couple like that too.
I haven't seen Beetlejuice in so long to have an opinion on it, but like I can see what you're saying.
Or like Spamalot, Monty Python, they combined like the best elements I think of the movies into the musical. So I thought that was still worth seeing.
I've never seen that.
It's pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, moral of the story, Matt, go to a musical.
They're not always happy-go-lucky musicals, but everyone just assumes they are because they have music in them.
I'll see if I can check out a Japanese musical while I'm out here.
There you go. Or when you come back, well, the three of us go. You know what? The four of us go. Me, you, Rachel, and and your wife.
She's been on the podcast before.
That's fair. That's fair. Slip of the tongue.
But speaking of the wife, we went out this weekend for some outside fun. We went kayaking. Are you like outdoor people? Do you be kayaking and snow jet skis and hikes and stuff like that? Are you outdoor people?
Well, you both know I'm not a person of the water, so those specific things, no.
Yeah, I can't.
Rachel?
I can't do most of those things.
Can you not? Can you not swim?
I
Are you
can.
like me?
I can
Oh,
swim,
okay. Just rubbing it in my
but
face.
I
Okay.
mean, but I mean, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd be able to like water ski or some of those other things. I could go on a hike. I'd be really
I
slow,
can
but
hike like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I've never done any of that stuff before, but um, we got invited to, or a lady I work with showed me that they have kayaking for only for 150 yen. So I was like, I definitely need to jump on that,
What is that in
and
American currency?
less than $1.50.
What?
Yeah. So I was like, we was that was my same expression. I was like, wait, really? And she was like, yeah, it's like off the beaten path or whatever. And I was like, yeah, they give you everything for that amount. And she was like, yeah, like life jackets and all that stuff. So she was like, yeah. So then she was like, oh yeah, her daughter gonna go out this weekend, and if you want to go, so asked the wife and everything. She was like, yeah, we rode out there. It was like 150 yen per person, so we ended up spending 480, which is less than $5 for all of us to go for 2 hours.
That's insane.
Yes,
Oh, that's
yes.
really good.
So, but this is like I've never done like I've been on a boat before. My parents used to own a boat back in the day. We used
You
to
you
go
you're a
to
Navy person, yes.
yes, and also I've lived on a ship for over 6 years. Yes, so but I've never kayaked or any of that stuff. So that was my first time. It was nice. It was relaxing out there on the ocean. Um, it was good. So I was like, the wife was like, "Oh, we should get a kayak and stuff." I was like, "What the fuck are we gonna? Where are we gonna put a kayak at?"
You're gonna put it on top of your car.
We have a little ass car. We don't have a big car like you'll put a bicycle on or whatever. So I was like, "What?" I mean, unless I haven't done any research on this, unless they make like some kind of foldable kayak or something.
That feels
We
like
ain't
it
got
could
no
be
fucking room for this.
feels like it could be dangerous.
Right. But it was nice though. It was our first time out there. Also, the little guy was out there. He don't swim. He can't swim, but he had his life jacket on and everything. We all had a good time.
He wasn't filled with fear. That would be my worst nightmare, to be out there on a small thing and just surrounded by water. I would be so afraid.
you wouldn't trust the
No,
boat or the life jacket.
No, because like I'm at the point where it's like I know like naturally humans float, but I know that. But when it's going down, my brain is not going to think about that.
Right.
but what do you mean? What do you mean? Naturally, humans float.
Isn't that what they say? Like, as long as like you don't struggle and go with it, like you'll float. Isn't that what they say?
Fuck no. Who told you that? That's a lie.
Oh, I thought that's something I've
That's not
heard.
true at all.
Okay.
No. Like when you say float, like you mean floating on your back. If you just lay back, you're not. There's a way you have to do something in order for you to be able to float. Well, that's what I mean. Like if you just relax, you're gonna sink. You have to like tilt your head back a certain way and do it a certain way. You're just not gonna like as long as I relax, I'm gonna float. No, that's not true.
See, in one of the many, well, not many, but like a few, there's been a few times where people have been like, "I'll teach you how to swim," and they're like, "Just relax, Chad. You're gonna naturally float." And I'm like, "Okay." And
Relaxing is like 95% of the process. If you relax, it's so much easier to do everything, but it's not just relaxing, you're fine. Relaxing is 95%. Once you do that, then the rest is easy to do. But it's not the whole thing. That's what I'm trying to say.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Right. Because when you're struggling and stuff, and then you're not gonna be able to do anything after that.
Well, what I'm trying to say is like I just would not be comfortable surrounded by that much water, in the current
Right.
with the current level of swimming that I know.
That makes sense.
Um, right. But if with the life jacket, like I understand if you didn't have a life jacket, But if the life jacket, that one, you don't do anything, is going to keep you afloat. So if you just don't do anything, the life jacket's going to at least keep your head afloat.
Hey man, I hear you saying those words. Right. So from what I understand, Matt, it's Morbin-time.
That's what I hear. Well, before there was Morbin-time, there was, I guess, it did bad at theaters. Morbius, sorry, Morbius did bad at theaters, and you know how the internet be, and they did what the internet does, ended up re-releasing Morbius.
Excuse me?
Because I guess the internet, yeah,
The
they
internet
re-released it.
re-release the internet re-released it, or the studio re-released it?
The studio re-released it because people were talking about it, how like, oh, they didn't see it because of this, or it's really not that bad, and X, Y, and Z.
So they edited it and then
No,
re-released
no, no,
it,
no. They
or they
just
just
no, like it was released, and then it did its stuff, made its money, and then
It,
at the end they
I
start
do
taking
not
away.
believe it made his money. Like let's call a spade a spade.
Well, it was out in theaters, yes. it was out in theaters. It did its thing. Once that time runs out, they start taking it away from theaters. But the internet did was on this thing where like it's not as bad as people make it out to be, or I didn't see it because of this, and like different. It was like reasons why it didn't make money. So then the theater re-released it.
oh, so there was kind of like
Did it
speculation around it, so they re-released it so that people could go see for themselves.
I feel like
right?
putting
Okay.
it back in theaters would have cost them more money than they would have made from these new screenings. I feel like that's where the story's gonna end.
Okay, so yeah, they re-released it, and it resulted in $85,000,
Right.
which is horrible.
Right. Right. I don't know why they were like, oh yeah, yeah, the people are clamoring for this. Like, no, this is a fucking joke. Am I a joke to you? Yes.
Right. I don't know what came out on that day, but it was like for example, when 9/11 happened, that was a day that Jay-Z dropped his album, right?
Right. And then Zoolander came out. Zoolander 2? 1 or 2?
Two came out that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it came out that day. So it was like there was something else that took precedence over that one, right?
Right.
So I don't know what else came out when Morbius came out, where the theater thought, oh no, we can recoup this. There was like a distraction on that day. But no. But Chad, have you seen this movie?
Absolutely not. No. Have you seen Morbin?
I have not.
I want to see it. I want to see it just because people keep saying how bad it is.
No, I'm good. Like I Courtney was on a episode of Billion Years ago. He sent me a tweet from Jared Leto's Twitter where he was reading a script, and he's like, "Oh no, y'all can't see what I'm about to be in." And then the camera panned over to it, and it was Morbius 2. It's Morbin-time, and I was like, "That's
Yeah,
really
I saw
funny."
that.
But no, I have no urge to see that movie.
Is it because of what people said? Like when you first saw the trailer, were you like, all right, I'm not seeing it at all? Or were you
Yes,
just like, once you heard what everybody else said, now you're like, I don't want to see this.
I wasn't feeling it from the trailers. And it's like I don't really care for what Sony's doing now. Like I didn't like Venom 1, so I didn't see Venom 2. And I saw all the trailers for Morbius, and I was like, I'm good on this.
This is a Sony thing?
Yeah.
Oh, well, never mind. I don't need to see this.
What would you
Never
think
mind.
you think Disney putting some bullshit out?
That's well, when you hear Marvel, I guess my mind automatically goes there. So I was like this, and my mind kept thinking, this is the weakest one Marvel's done. No, but it's the other Marvel.
Right.
Well, never mind. We don't need to see this. Okay, never mind. I'm never gonna watch this
Cut this
now.
whole
I,
segment.
I thought it was something. I thought this was something like, I need to watch this, so I know what's going on in the future storylines.
No,
But nah,
no,
this
you
no.
good.
Then okay,
You
we
good.
good then. Yeah, erase. Yeah, we could.
No, I mean
Disregard.
I'm not gonna delete it, but no, no. So also, in the group, one of the many group chats that we belong to, you finally caught up to 2019, huh, Matt?
Is that when this came out?
Yes. When I was on, I almost said when I was on TDY. when I had to relocate for this current job I'm at, it came out that summer, and so I was watching it, and I genuinely thought we talked about this.
No,
Like,
you probably have, but you know how shitty my memory is.
yeah. So yeah. I'm sorry. I'm taking the lead here.
No, I thought you was gonna segue me in. Segue me in.
Well, this is the segue. We're past the segue. We're in
Uh,
it.
right. Well, we're talking about the boys, and I don't know. Just lately, I have been going back and remembering old movies or old TV shows that were like, oh wait, I heard people talking about this. That's how I started watching Dave before,
Hmm.
and then I seen something was like I think it was you, Chad. You sent a meme in and you were like about Boys 3 and how you're not watching the Boys 3, you'd rather watch
No, that's
um
not what the meme was. So it was a riff on "It's Always Sunny on Philadelphia," and the scene, Dennis, he's laying like poolside, and he sees an attractive woman, but over the attractive woman is the poster for The Boys season 3. And then in the next panel, somebody that's sitting right next to him like leans up in front of the attractive woman, and it is Miss Marvel, because that premieres next week, and he says lay back down because he'd rather see The Boys 3 than Miss Marvel.
oh, I took it the other way around. Okay, got you. Oh. So you rather see the Boys still or Miss Marvel?
No, I just thought it was funny. Like, obviously I'm gonna watch both. I haven't seen The Boys season 3 yet because, once more, time is never on my side. But I will be watching it on Wednesday, and I was talking to Rachel about this, and I was like, "You ready for that new Marvel show?" And what did you say, Rachel?
I was like, what?
Yeah, you got more shit to watch.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
got
I
more shit to
finally
watch before
got
Thor in
caught
July.
up.
Uh,
But yeah,
That reminds me of that. That reminds me of that meme where you say, where it's like 20 years down the line, kids gonna have to watch 3,000 movies to
Yep.
catch up to the newest Marvel movie to understand everything.
yep. Yeah, so you got 6 hours of preteen content to watch before you can watch Thor: Love and Thunder. So have fun with that.
thanks, I think.
Thank that mouse, not me.
Yeah, thanks, Disney.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be watching it next week. I'll be watching Obi-Wan. I'll be watching The Boys. Those will be the shows that I'm watching. We will probably, well, we can't talk about The Boys because you're in season 1. How are you liking the show so far?
I like it. It gives me a what was that cartoon? Last year before it was really violent. It was based off a comic book.
Invincible.
Yes, it gives me an invisible type of vibe where the superheroes. Basically, if you've never seen The Boys, it's basically superhero world where you have your quote unquote Justice League, and they're out doing it, but it gives you the behind the scenes where Superman ain't doing this stuff for free. Um, there's always agendas and everything. With Homelander is the Superman of this show, and I like it. It gives me those invisible types of vibes, especially at the very beginning where A-Train, he's like the Flash, and he just runs through a woman in blood and guts and all this stuff. But yeah, it's pretty good, pretty good. I'm only on episode 4, but I really enjoying it. So
Have you seen the
I'm late
show?
to the game, but I'm here.
I have not.
Okay. I like the show a lot. The this is I haven't read the comic, but I'm familiar with some things that happen in the comic. And the thing that kind of not ticked me off, but I felt weird about this universe is that there aren't any supervillains. And I'm like, if you have superpowers, why is every person with superpowers like, yep, I'm going to work for this. I'm going to work for a corporation. I'm not just going to steal shit.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. They haven't got too many villains, so I guess there is no super villains.
Right.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah. Stuff is going to happen as you proceed with the series. But as it stands when the show starts, there are no supervillains.
So what are they?
They're just fighting regular people. So it's like a
Oh.
super one sided fights. Like I think it's the first episode they stop a bank robbery and it's just regular people.
Hmm.
Like so it takes like it could have only one person could have showed up. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Uh,
I I don't know. One thing I don't like about it, I don't like how. I mean, is this supposed to be what's the word I'm looking for? A parody of DC's?
they touch on both sides.
Because I'm like, okay, we understand Superman and like in the girl, she even dressed like Wonder Woman,
Right.
and then Aquaman. So I'm like, is is this just supposed to be a parody of it?
Yeah,
So I'm trying to think. I haven't met
it's
any other superheroes with that's not a DC one,
it
a DC power. I mean,
they're gonna hit both sides of it. And yes, the show is commentary.
okay.
And there is something that is like absolutely brilliant that they do in season 2. There's like a very overt parody of Avengers Endgame. You know that scene in Endgame when all the ladies like step up and they're like, "Oh yeah, girl, girls doing shit, right?" And so like
Mm-hmm.
I've said this on the podcast and like I don't think no one's ever said anything to me, but they use the phrase girls get it done in like in their parody because that's basically what they're doing. And like it's commentary on like it is making fun of the situation, but it's like being very serious. It's like this is what you're doing right here is pandering, but we can also show you how to do this and not pander to people.
Got you.
So
Okay,
like it's got some really good commentary in it.
Chad, what have you been up to?
So I did some errands today, and today I'm wearing my my PlayStation T-shirt, and so I'm like
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to feel a little cute, let the world know I'm a gamer. I'm not really. I can't tell you the last time I touched a controller. But and so as I'm walking towards my home, one of my neighbors is like, "Oh, cool shirt, man." And I was like, "Thanks, brother." And he's like, "You got that PS5?" And I was like, I heard him, but I was like, "What'd you say?" He's like, "You got that PS5?" So I had like a split second to be like, "Yeah, man, I got that PS5," and be like, "Is this brother gonna rob me?" Or be like, "Nah, brother, I don't have that PS5," and go on with my life. So in that split second, I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, man." And he walked his way, and I walked into my home. But then I was like, this man is gonna rob me."
He's like, oh, okay, I know the next mark I'm gonna hit.
Exactly, exactly. So, Rachel, I'm gonna need you to take my PS5 for safekeeping. Don't play it, okay? Because that shit's mine.
I wouldn't know where to begin.
But yeah, so I was like, that's well, I put myself in a situation, but whatever. Um, but yeah, man. So last weekend, Netflix was basically broken because Stranger Things 4 Part 1 came out. And I have to say, this has been the best season of the show so far. Excuse me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not just from like, oh man, like the big bad of who they're fighting, but just like so just to roll back, I thought season 1 of Stranger Things was like super good, super great. But I feel like a big misstep that they had was that Stranger Things should have been the American Horror Story of Netflix. And are you familiar with American Horror Story, Matt?
Yes.
So basically, I feel like every season should have been a different story with different characters, but some of the same actors. That way, you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to run into the issues of like them getting older each season, and like you guys are supposed to be in high school, but some of you guys look college age, and some of you guys still look like you're in middle school. Like you could have just really played with that, but they decided to do
Mm-hmm.
one continuous story, and I'm like, okay, sure. But something I don't like is like in season 1, they've established like there's monsters and all this stuff, and yeah. So in seasons 2 and 3, the characters are separated, and it takes them so long to realize like stuff is going down to where they come back together and compare notes so that they can stop whatever's happening. But like
Mm-hmm.
in episode 2, they're like weird shit is happening and we need to get to the bottom of this. So like the rest of the season, they're working on how to stop what's happening instead of shit's happening while they're doing other stuff. So like,
okay.
in my opinion, like
they learned.
Finally, yes. So like they hit the ground running with this season. And so like that's like why I say this is probably the best season of the show, because like it doesn't feel like there's wasted time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Are you a Stranger Things person, Rachel?
No, I haven't really been following it. Like, I know a little bit about it, but not really.
Not your cup of tea?
I didn't think I would like it, and then I kind of heard people saying more about it, and I was like, maybe I should have given it a shot, but yeah, I haven't picked it up yet.
You would probably like it. Probably.
What's your hesitation?
Well, I mean, it's got elements of shit that you would like. Like, it's got like some heartfelt stuff. Got some adventure. You would probably like it.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I caught South Park: The Streaming Wars on Paramount Plus, and this is one of the many South Park movies that the creators of the show agreed to do for Paramount Plus. And so let me give a little background with this first of all. So a few years ago, the South Park guys, they made a deal with HBO Max to have all of South Park plus any future episodes that aired on Comedy Central into 2025 exclusively on HBO Max. Now the thing with this is like Comedy Central is owned by Paramount, and they now have a streaming service, and they're like, we can't even put one of our flagship shows on our platform until 2025 because you made this HBO deal. They can't put any of the stuff that's airing on TV. So they made a new deal with the South Park guys to where the show is extended for X amount of seasons, but they also have to make so many movies exclusively on Paramount Plus.
So that's the way they get it.
So that way HBO can't get those specials. And so the Streaming Wars special, it is not necessarily about streaming TV shows. Like in the storyline, like South Park has a drought, and so farmers, they get extra water. They aren't restricted by the drought like normal citizens. So they can sell their excess water to citizens, but the only thing is you have to prove that your water reaches the main pocket of where South Park gets their water from. So they hired Stan and Token to like make these little boats to show that they're floating where they need to go. And so the streaming wars is these boats going down the stream. But they are actually talking about like streaming TV shows, because on the show, Stan and Token, they overexert themselves like the real South Park creators, where they're like, oh yeah, we'll totally work for you and do this. But then somebody else is like, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of money for you to just do this one thing for me. And so like it's commentary on like how like they're making the boats, but like they're starting to make them shittier and shittier because like they just have to get through their contract. And so they're like it doesn't fucking matter how bad this shit is. Like the people are just going to take it. Like we just have to put this shit out here. We got to get the job done. Nobody said this had to be good. We just have to do it. And so it's some really good commentary.
I'll watch it today then.
But yeah, that's all I've been watching. You guys ready to do this thing?
Ready.
Let's rock and roll.
This week we discuss everything, everywhere, all at once.
Evelyn, I'm not your husband. I'm another version of him from another universe. I'm here because we need your help.
Very busy today. No time to help you.
Across the multiverse, I've seen thousands of Evelyns. You can access all their memories, their emotions, even their skills. There's a great evil spreading throughout the many verses. And you may be our only chance of stopping it.
Don't make me fight you. I am really good.
I don't believe you.
Wow, that looks really good.
A Chinese immigrant is swept up in an insane adventure where she alone can save the world by exploring other universes, connecting with the lives she could have led. All right, so Rachel, since this is not your first rodeo, you do not get to go first.
Okay.
So Matt, what did you think of this movie?
It was a wild ride. It was a wild ride. As I was on this ride, there was ups and there was downs. And then I started thinking, like you said on the intro, is this just a bootleg Doctor Strange in the multi? I was like, what are we doing here? Is this something that like they came up with years ago and then Marvel just took it from them?
I mean, technically, this movie came out first. Well, not technically. It did come out first. It came out like 2 or 3 weeks before Doctor Strange.
Right. So I was just like, this is kind of similar. But overall, longer than I expected to be. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I really like the what's the word I'm looking for? Not special effects. Visuals. There we go. The visuals were very good. I enjoyed it. Long, but I enjoyed it.
Rachel?
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was really interesting, and some of the points that we'll probably get into later I thought were interesting, and it definitely was kind of crazy going through all the universes, and was very like visually stimulating, but I liked it overall.
Yeah, I agree. This movie was very long. This movie was almost 2.5 hours long, and I don't know if we needed to be seated for that. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I fell asleep the first time I watched this movie. And so I tried to watch this movie last night, and I kept dozing in and out. And that last doze, I saw the credits, and I was like, oh, shit, okay. So I rewatched it today, and I fell asleep again. So I had to rewind some parts. I want to say I liked it. I did end up seeing the whole thing. I want to say I liked it. It was more out there than I cared for, to be honest. But I like what they were like. I like the world building, like how things work, like how the jumping into different universes and bringing in skills from one universe to another. I liked how they established that. Some of the worlds that they go to are kind of weird, you know. I didn't fully understand the right. Hot dog fingers for hands.
Yes.
I didn't understand parts of the ending, which I would like to talk to you two about. But I felt like it was super well acted. The villain was scary at first, but then by the end, I was like, "What? Just kill the hero. Like, stop toying with them, please."
Right. One thing it felt like they took like all the stuff that they liked, like whoever wrote this took all the stuff. They was like, hey, what's your favorite movie? And they were like, ooh, you know what I like? I like Rumble in the Bronx with Jackie Chan. They was like, okay. Hey, you, what movie do you like? And they was like, ooh, I like The Matrix. And they was like, okay. And they just went down the line, and they was like, all right, we better put, like the title says, everything into this. And it was like all of these different parts where it's like you get the Matrix stuff, the jumping in and out, the skills, you have the action, like Rumble in the Bronx and everything with Jackie Chan. And it was just like a lot of stuff in there to where, like you said, when you said the villain at the beginning, when they were doing like this whole click thing like that and stuff, but then once later on you're like, oh, it's the daughter, the bagel and everything. You're like, okay, at least then not the scariness. Yeah, the scariness of the villain is gone from there.
Yeah. Especially like that first fight with her when she fought those guards and the police officers. I was like, oh my God. It was so cool. It was, parts of it were kind of like that fight with Thanos in Avengers Infinity War when he got the Reality Stone and he was just like fucking with people. Like it's very similar to that. It was like a really cool scene. But as it went on, I was like, okay. I mean, I like the overall message of like, as Disney these days, shedding generational trauma,
Breaking cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was kind of okay that the villain got less scary, because I remember at one point she was saying she didn't actually want to kill Evelyn. She just wanted her to experience the same thing as her, which was called worse than death by the husband's other universe person.
His variant. Let's do
yes,
that. Keep
you.
Keep it in Marvel terms.
Yes, his variant. So I kind of thought it tracked. But I could see how it could be like anticlimactic.
Yeah. So help me out with this ending. So let's call it our prime universe, the universe in which all the stuff went down at the IRS building. Okay. The branching event was her punching Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
So, but she kept jumping to that universe where she didn't punch her and they just left. And so when we end the movie, we're in the universe where she did not punch Jamie Lee Curtis. So my question is, did that universe where she did punch Jamie Lee Curtis and all hell broke loose at the IRS, does that universe no longer exist?
Oh, I thought that universe was the original universe.
No, because that was the branching point to create a new universe. Her punching her and all that stuff happening, or her not punching her and they just get in the elevator.
Oh.
Because she kept jumping to it. Because, like, I want to say during that fight scene, that next fight scene with Jamie Lee Curtis, she jumped into the universe briefly where they were talking in the van. And he was like, yes, I filed papers. And so that's the universe where none of that happened. And they just got on the elevator and left. And so that's where we kept jumping back to where where you see the party and she throws the thing in the window and she gets arrested and Jamie Lee Curtis is like, don't do that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on the same page with you now. So I mean, that's the universe that the variant sought her out in. And they were talking about earlier in the movie that every time, she's not good, she's not talented at all the other stuff that she's talented in the other universes in this one universe. And he was saying that every time she fails in this universe, she like succeeds in a different universe. So I thought that they kind of went back to that one, because that to me kind of felt like base or like home universe, because she's just ordinary. And I think that's also like reflective of just that's how life is you're usually going through the motions and doing these things, and so that's where they ended up too, was just in the ordinary life.
Yeah, I took it as once she punched Jamie Lee Curtis, that became a different universe. Because like she had the universe where she's basically basic, and everything past that was a different universe. So once she punched Jamie Lee Curtis, that became a new universe for her, because she would never normally do something like that. So now you have that universe where she punched Jamie Lee Curtis, and going down that road, she still had the one where you had, like Rachel said, the base one where she's just basic and does nothing crazy at all.
Right.
Like that.
So my question was, does the universe where she punched Jamie Lee Curtis no longer exist? Since we don't really see what happens next. Since the movie didn't end there.
I think it has to exist, because that's where, that's where everything quote unquote happened at. The fight scene at the end and everything.
Right, but then,
I think they just didn't end it there.
But then, like the bagel, it would have done some stuff too.
So I took it as at the ending, we don't see all these other fractured universes, but they still exist.
Okay, I see.
Because she fixed the problem. Like there was a resolution to it.
Okay, I think I get you.
Yeah, you have to stay focused on this one. There's
Yes,
a
you
lot of
do.
stuff going on
And they go
in and
in
out and
and they go
around.
in and out of different languages and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but one thing I did like, I liked the jumping part. I liked how it was unique, where you had to do something weird to in order to get the skills and stuff.
Yeah.
That caught me off guard at first. When he was chewing the chapstick, I was like, ew, what is going on?
Right.
Also, we need to give a shout out to the actor that played the husband because he was Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and he was also in the Goonies.
Oh. I thought the acting
Damn,
was really great.
you taking a trivia? You going trivia before we do trivia?
I'm sorry, I'm over here just cutting you off at the knees. I apologize. It's
Nah,
just
nah. Go ahead and do it. Nah, go ahead and do it. Yeah, because now for this something like this, we need to give these actors their flowers. We got to give Michelle, Evelyn. She's been in the game for a while. She's been, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. She was in Super Cop with Jackie Chan.
she was even a Bond girl.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the Pierce Brosnan one, right?
The world is not enough, right?
Yeah, right.
No, not The World Is Not
And-
Enough. Something else.
Oh, Tomorrow Never Dies. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Those titles are too close together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and then the actress who played Joy is May in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Ooh, that's
And
a show I
she's
need to get
really
on.
good. Yes, it's so good.
Stephanie. Her name is Stephanie
Who? Stephanie
Joy.
Joy.
Sue or Sue?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at how to pronounce that. HSU.
I think it's Sue.
The husband, what was his name? The one that was in the Goonies.
I'm
He
sorry.
said that. Or go ahead.
In the movie, his name was Waymond.
Wayman, yeah, that's right. Wayman. Oh yeah, the actor said that he got out of acting in the movie that wanted to get back to acting was Crazy Rich Asians.
Right, and that makes sense.
Who was in Crazy Rich Asians? Michelle.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
she was in Crazy Rich Asians.
That's right. I mean, honestly,
And if you remember in the movie where they go back and she's famous, they show her like on the red carpet. If you look in one of the scenes, it's quick. She's on the red carpet for Crazy Rich Asians. It says Crazy Rich Asians in the background.
No way.
that's funny.
That's really cool.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
So when we talked about Chippendale, and I was saying that how it was like there's so much stuff in the background where you have to watch it again because you miss stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with this too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff where
Yes.
like we talked about how there's a lot of correlations to other movies or other like movies. Like they're not saying the Matrix, but a lot of stuff was from the Matrix. There's a lot of stuff in there that's based off other movies. So it's like one we have to go back and watch and be like, oh, okay, that's where that's from. Like them where she first when she's in there and Wayman gets locked up and but behind the cabinet when she's fighting Jamie Lee Curtis and she grabs the phone or grabs a little headset and then she's in the cubicle and she runs across right when Jamie Lee Curtis turns around. That is from the Matrix.
Yeah, Neo.
Yeah, when Keanu Reeves had to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when we watched all those fucking movies and they were terrible?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But it's weird because like looking at it during that time, it was such a
Yeah. It was revolutionary. Yeah.
revolutionary for that time. But watching it now, I was like, all right.
Right.
Well, towards the end, I started noticing all of this circle imagery. Like the small mirrors were circles, the googly eyes were circles, the bagel was a circle, the circle on the receipt was like a giant circle, and it was like echoing through. And I was like, I wonder if I go back and see the movie again if I'm noticing more circles, which I thought
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that kind of went with the whole breaking the cycle. And then they said a couple other things about circles, like the main actress was quoted, or like Evelyn was quoted saying we're all just running around in circles, and like by her husband to her, and there were just other circular and cyclical things that like I thought were leading up towards the end.
What time did this movie take place?
I would think now, right?
Okay. I was thinking, why is this dude walking around with a fanny pack, man? That's what I was thinking. I was like, is this in the like early 90s? When would this movie take place?
I mean, fanny
And I
packs.
started thinking, wait. I was like, do I need to get a fanny pack?
No, those are back now. Like Gen Z rocks that shit hard.
Yeah, they're back.
Oh.
But also, like he was like
Wayman was ahead of the game.
he's like a middle-aged man. Like they just gonna do whatever they want to do. So if it's convenient to have a fanny pack, then I got a fanny pack. Goddamn it!
And it doesn't have to look cool.
Right.
It's just what they do.
It actually won't look cool, but you know.
Right.
Trivia. Now a lot of stuff we talked about was already covered in the trivia, so I'll just give you a couple. The writer-director Daniel, that's why it's produced by Daniels, originally intended for Evelyn to be undiagnosed ADHD. Started as an almost insensitive idea, like, what if the main character was so distractible they could trap her into other universes? So subsequently, as he was doing research on the condition, he discovered that himself had undiagnosed ADHD.
Oh wow!
Talk about a movie changing your life.
Right. This movie was originally supposed to be, they wrote it for Jackie Chan.
Oh.
But then they changed it later on.
That would have been a very different movie.
And then the last one. Ki Kwan delivers a reference to his Indiana Jones character, Short Round, when yelling at Evelyn to snap out of it. This scene plays out exactly the same way in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when Indy is under a spell by Molo Ram.
Okay.
And then a lot of stuff was mainly like, it's a lot of trivia stuff. It's more like we talked about stuff in the background. Like they go in depth about what Rachel was talking about, the circle stuff, what it means. Like a lot of stuff in the background. So if you like to know, like say if you want to know before you go watch it a second time, or say if you just want to know the stuff, dive into the trivia for it. They go, it's a lot. And I know before you told me this, Chad, you was like, just give me 2 or 3, nothing crazy. So I was like, all right. There was a lot to go through.
Okay. I'm glad you don't have like 2 pages of notes. Like, all right, guys, buckle up.
I was. If you wouldn't have told me that, I would have went through, because there was a lot of cool stuff in there. But like you said, I mean, people don't need to know all that stuff. If you want to know more, do your own research. I gave you enough information.
I gave you a taste.
Right.
So I know you guys have seen Turning Red, and there's been like probably some other, what was it, Encanto? That was like breaking generational cycles of trauma. How do you think this compares to those?
Well, those I feel like were more palatable to the general audience. And also more people would have seen either one of those compared to this movie.
That's true.
But I think, you know, comparatively, they kind of touched on different things, right? Like accepting your child for, well, I guess they're all the same thing. Accepting your child for who they are, whether it be not like everybody else in your family, or whether it be not like everybody else in your family, or whether it be not like everybody else in your family. So basically, they're all saying the same fucking thing, huh?
I mean, I thought it was a little bit different this time. What did you think, Matt?
No, I want to hear what you're going to say. What do you mean it was different this time?
Because I think in those other movies, and I mean, they're also Disney movies, and I couldn't think of other movies off the top of my head, so it might be different in other movies too. But I feel like the answer in the Disney movies was to just embrace the child for who they are. And this one went like a step further and was kind of like, you need to let go. So then she's willing to let go. And she starts letting go. And then she's like, but I'll always be here for you. And the whole point was that, you know, Joy kept coming back for Evelyn because she wanted to find her. So then it was like, she would have let go for her if that's what she needed to do. But what what she really wanted, what Joy really wanted, was to just come back and be embraced by her mom. So I thought it was a little bit different.
I get that.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know how you. So I don't know, because it's like I understand the message of like all these movies where they're like, hey, like you can't control your children, right? You have to let them be their own person. And I don't get how you properly visually show that in a story, because it's not going to be this grand thing of like, okay, you know what? I accept you for who you are now, and this is the status quo, because that's not real. Realistically, you can say that to your kid, but like it's going to take time for you to unlearn the harmful things that you have been doing.
Right. I mean, that's kind of my issue with most of these types of movies, is like things aren't going to be fixed in that one moment.
Right.
Like, and movies make it seem like
We just had to have one
that's
conversation and we are golden now.
right. So I thought this had the potential to like maybe be a little bit different, but that's just my
I did
thought.
like how it was different when she's like, I accept you for who you are. You know, I'm sorry, and she's like, fuck you. I
Yeah,
really liked that.
I did too. I thought it was a little different than
Yeah.
a little unexpected than the usual like breaking generational cycles that we've seen.
Right, because once she told her dad that was her girlfriend, normally it'd be like, yeah, but then her daughter was like, no, fuck you. And I thought it was going to be like she wanted to tell him that versus her mother, because the mother is doing it because it's making her feel better, that she
Right.
knows she knows what she's been doing to Joy. So I'm going to take charge and be like, hey, my daughter has a girlfriend and she's doing that because she wants to do it, not because her daughter is doing it. So when she was like, no, and she ran away, I was like, all right, good. Because it was supposed to be about her daughter. Her daughter wanted to say it. Her mother said no. So then once blah, blah, blah happened. So when she finally does it, the mother took charge and did it herself. So then it's not about the daughter anymore. Evelyn did it because she wanted to do it.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there was like just maybe a little more struggle there than there usually is.
Yeah. See, this movie has, I'll say it one more time for the record, this movie has everything in it.
And all at once.
Did you get
Yes.
the breaking into parts though?
Breaking into parts.
How they had everything, part 1,
Oh.
everywhere, part 2, all at once, part 3.
I didn't like when they did the first one. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But then as they kept doing it, I was like, I don't understand what we're doing here.
Yeah, I thought I thought I understood them, and then we get to the ending and I'm like, never mind. I don't know what the common thread was here. Like I just thought it was a way to split up the movie, but I didn't really know if the title correlated with like that chunk of the title correlated with that specific part of the movie, or if they just made it like that.
Or it could be just a nod to Quentin Tarantino movies.
Maybe, I mean, maybe this had to have everything in it, all the movie stuff.
Rachel, it's always great to see you, lady. Appreciate you back for your 4th. I guess we'll see you real soon for that 5th, because you know I see you clawing for Josh here. So Josh, if you're listening, Rachel's coming for you, brother.
I am.
Cousin.
All right, LaRon, and you need to step your game up too.
But all right, thank you so much for listening. Please rate, like, and review our podcast on your platform of choice. If you have any feedback, please email us at weusedtotalkpod@gmail.com. Like our Facebook page, We Used to Talk About This at Work, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at We Used to Talk Pod. Come back next week for our Father's Day special, where we review a Goofy movie. And if the stars align, you might get a bonus episode where Matt is there too. But who knows?
And like always, I don't know if this was a good episode. I don't know if it was a bad episode. But whatever you think about it, talk about it at work. Thank you for listening.
Are you going to add some Japanese at the end?
Hi.
Shit.
What's a good
You're
what's a
flustered,
good
man.
ending? Hi. Wakarimashita. Genki desu ka, Rachel-san?
What did you just say?
Yeah.
I say, yes, I understand. How are you doing, Rachel?
That's totally answering the question. All right.
Oh, no.
All right. We out.
See, my wife is laughing. That's some good Japanese.
Yeah, that's what laughter usually means. Yeah.
Uh,
All right. We out of here.
all right, Q skip then.